Ahoy! Today we finally have a statement from the New World devs regarding minimaps. There's been a lot of confusion about that in the past, if minimaps are allowed in the first place, external ones, what they're allowed to show, if you can get banned for them and so on. And there's been quite a few, I would say, weird replies from the Amazon devs, or from the forum team at least, that weren't really particularly clear, and now they finally released a clearer statement on all of this. So let's go through it and see what we can get in terms of permissions for minimaps in the future. Hello everyone. I'd like to take a moment of your time to address the minimap conversation. We've been following the conversation on the forums and believe we understand the reasons players want a minimap. Also, we are aware that there is a perception if we implement a minimap, then players that don't want them can simply turn it off. But in reality, players may feel at a disadvantage without it. Right now, creating a minimap is not a high priority for us, as we have other items we feel are more pressing. I fully agree with that, by the way. There are much more important things for the dev team to work on, especially if external minimaps already exist. The high-level reasoning is that we have concerns with it meshing with New World's action, combat style and world design. That it could break immersion, may limit the drive for exploration, and there are technical limitations. We feel the compass fulfills the needs, fits the setting, promotes exploration and supports combat. Diving into the specifics, a big part of our combat is situational awareness, and the addition of a minimap may compromise this in a few ways. First, we are concerned that eyes may be planted on minimaps as opposed to the play space. Second, if there are any combatants, AI or players on the minimap, it could change how the game is played. Another concern is that players may play the minimap or at least stare at it as opposed to the game world, which could have a negative effect on immersion. Once implemented, the desire for more efficiency will likely drive to adding gameplay elements like nodes, active and inactive, local wildlife and players. Then gameplay could become more about efficiency and less about getting lost in Eternum. At that point, we are playing a 2D game as opposed to the beautiful interactive world we created. I can understand the reasoning and I can understand what side of the team is driving that. At the same time, realistically, there is always a point where these types of games become about efficiency for a lot of people, and they will get every advantage they can in order to do that. Looking, for example, at the chest runs that are happening at the moment. Most people are doing elite chest runs because it's the most efficient way, even though in terms of immersion, there would be ways that probably offer you more than running the same loop of chests over and over. Eternum is built with landmarks, roads and vistas to drive exploration, not to mention key elements might be off the beaten path. If we have a minimap, it could change open world behavior and potentially remove the natural exploration that happens now in the game. On the technical side, you may wonder how a third party can quickly do this, and the dev team says it's going to be more work. The reason is that the dev team has a minimum spec that we are committed to supporting. That will require rendering and artwork to ensure it is performant. We will continue to follow the conversation, gather more information, and will periodically re-evaluate our position as we do on many decisions. All that said, we have discussed the matter with Overwolf and have decided to not penalize minimap mods from this third party, provided they stick to the following rules. As a general rule, the minimap follows exact rules of compass and cannot give players an advantage of any type over the compass. Information to be used for display, even within the limitations expressed below, must come from the Overwolf API, which we may add to over time but can't commit to at the moment. The minimap can show the player position, show folks in group as we do on compass, only show node placement if they've unlocked that node via trade skills, provided it is within the range that compass would display them. Only show AI that you've unlocked via trade skills as compass within the range of compass. Show quests as they do on compass. In the future, we may change our position on this and decide to add a minimap or change our position on allowing Overwolf. If we were to change, we would give plenty of notice along with a designated grace period where we would not ban players for continued use, but would take action after that grace period has ended. At this time, I can confirm that we have not banned anyone for using the minimap mod from Overwolf. Thanks for your feedback and support, Scott. Now, there is something worth keeping in mind here. What they're allowing here is very interesting because it doesn't match the compass. If you display something on the compass, it only shows you what direction it is in. if you display something on a minimap, you can see the exact location relative to your own position. Now, sure, if you use the compass effectively, you can do that quite well, but it's still a quite significant difference, in my opinion, to be able to see things that way. As it's worded here, saying show folks in group as we do on compass, as far as I understand that, that is supposed to mean that you can also see your teammates on the minimap. That is a very, very significant difference in any sort of PvP scenario, be it in walls or be it in open world PvP or whatever, outpost rush. Now, I don't quite know why the interpretation of that is that basically this is the same, essentially, or that it is like similar to the compass, while also arguing that it's not. But what I take from this is if you're playing PvP on a high level, you're probably better off using the minimap now. I'm not necessarily opposed to this. I'm surprised by this decision, rather, because initially the statement was that they just wanted people to use the minimap without showing anything, essentially, and then they kind of just moved around on the position a lot. So, yeah, I guess my advice, if you're playing PvP on a high level, you probably might want to use the map now. You might want to use a minimap now. I also understand that reasoning regarding immersion. Nice thing is you can turn off the minimap at any time. And I also understand that a lot of players will have no reason to use this. If you're not playing high level PvP or you're not looking for the most efficient gathering routes, then you probably won't care much about this. I do think it's an interesting decision. I'm glad we have a very clear statement on this now, because it's been a lot of back and forth and a lot of lack of clarity on this beforehand. So I'm happy that we know now what the future holds for us in that regard, and that we can use the minimap for now, know that we won't get in trouble for it, and if anything changes, we'll get a warning, and we'll probably get a warning on the minimap itself as well, if that happens. So yeah, I'm glad they've communicated about this, surprised about the decision, but, you know, I'll take it, whatever, it works for me. And yeah, we'll be back with more later today. I will talk about the Void Gauntlet later. I was planning to make another video today as well, but we'll see how many I can actually fit in, considering this came out in between. With that, thank you guys very much for watching. If you'd like to see those other videos, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell. And I hope to see you for the next one later. Sloth out.